The number 7 jersey, the most punishing position on the rugby field. These warriors tackle with reckless abandon, steal ball after ball, and influence games like no other position. Today, we continue to build a team like no other. Comment your best ever open side selection below, and the player with the most mentions will take their spot in your greatest ever 15. Let's start with George Smith, the Australian dynamo who made breakdowns a nightmare for opponents. Born in 1980, Smith burst onto the scene in 2000, earning his first Wallabies cap at just 20 years old. What set him apart? His low centre of gravity and uncanny timing. Standing at 5'11" and built like a tank, he could get under taller players and rip the ball free with ease. Over his 111 test caps, Smith racked up turnovers that turned games upside down. Smith wasn't just about stealing the ball. His work in attack and defence was equally world-class. He had a unique ability to absorb tackles and offload in impossible situations. Many argue that in his prime, no one could match him at the breakdown. Eddie Jones, one of his coaches, called him the most talented player he'd ever worked with. Smith played across Super Rugby, Japan, France, and the Premiership, proving his versatility over a 20-year career. That durability? Unmatched. Next up, Michael Jones, the New Zealander who rewrote the flanker playbook in the 1980s and 90s. Known as the Iceman, Jones was a freak athlete. He debuted for Western Samoa in 1986 before switching to the All Blacks in 1987, just in time for their first World Cup win. Picture this: a 6'1" flanker with the speed of a winger and the power of a lock. Jones didn't just win turnovers, he ran support lines that carved teams apart, scoring 13 tries in 55 tests. Injuries cut his career short, and he refused to play on Sundays due to his faith, but his impact was seismic. Jones brought flair to a position once defined by grunt. Now, Richie McCaw. The name alone sends shivers down spines. Born in 1980, this all-black legend played 148 tests from 2001 to 2015, captaining New Zealand in 110 of them. 2 World Cup titles, 2011 and 2015, cement his legacy. McCaw was a machine. At 6'2" and 225 pounds, he combined physicality with a brain for the game that left rivals guessing. His breakdown work? Ruthless. He'd poach balls on the edge of legality, always knowing just how far he could push refs. He wasn't just about skill. His leadership, grit, and ability to deliver in the biggest moments made him an all-time great. He scored 27 test tries, a then record for a forward, and won World Rugby Player of the Year 3 times. Teammate Kieran Reid once said, "If I could keep up with Richie's shadow, I knew I was fit." McCaw didn't just play the game, he mastered it. Then there's Thierry Dusautoir, France's Dark Destroyer. Born in 1981 in Côte d'Ivoire, Dusautoir debuted for Les Bleus in 2006 and went on to earn 80 caps. At 6 feet and 227 pounds, he was a tackling beast. His defining moment, the 2007 World Cup quarter-final against New Zealand. France stunned the All Blacks 2018, and Dusautoir made 38 tackles, still a record for a single match. In the 2011 World Cup final, he scored France's only try and earned man of the match despite a 8-7 loss to McCaw's All Blacks. In the same year, he would go on to become World Rugby Player of the Year. Dusautoir wasn't a turnover specialist like some, but his work rate and leadership were unreal. He beat every rugby championship team: New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, Argentina, something few can claim. For France, he was a rock in a team that often leaned on emotion. A true pioneer of the open-side role, Jean-Pierre Rives was France's original rugby warrior. With his golden locks and fearless tackling, Rives was the heart and soul of Les Bleus in the 1970s and early 80s. He captained France to famous victories and was one of the first truly global rugby icons. Rives tackled hard and rucked harder, inspiring a generation. 2 Grand Slams in 1977 and 1981 cemented his legacy. His influence on the open-side position can't be overstated. But does the evolution of the game mean his greatness is overshadowed by modern players? David Pocock embodied the modern open-side flanker and took the role to new heights. Debuting in 2008 at age 20, Pocock played 83 tests for Australia, retiring in 2019. At 6'4" and 242 pounds, he was a giant, but his strength was his jackling, getting over the ball and refusing to budge. The 2015 World Cup quarter-final against England, Pocock and Michael Hooper demolished the breakdown, knocking the hosts out. He wasn't just a poacher, he carried the ball with power and led by example. Injuries plagued him, forcing him to shift to blindside or number 8 at times. Still, when fit, he was unstoppable. While his international career was shorter than some contenders, his peak years featured some of the most dominant performances ever seen from an open-side flanker. Few players embody the role of a modern open-side flanker better than Sam Warburton. The Welshman was a tackling machine, a breakdown menace, and a true leader. As captain of Wales and the British and Irish Lions, Warburton redefined leadership in the number 7 jersey. In 2013, he captained the British and Irish Lions, guiding them to a series victory over Australia at just 24 years old. His ability to slow down opposition ball and create turnovers made him one of the most feared flankers of his era. And let's not forget his legendary performances in the 2011 and 2015 Rugby World Cups. Injuries cut his career short by 2018, but his leadership and grit still echo. Warburton was a quiet force who let his game do the talking. Underrated by many, but feared by all, Heinrich Brousseau was a nightmare at the breakdown. His ability to win turnovers against any opposition made him one of the most effective number 7s of his generation. At 5'11" and 225 pounds, he wasn't the biggest, but his timing was deadly. Brousseau's low stance made him a turnover machine. Opponents couldn't shift him. He famously dominated the All Blacks in 2009, helping the Springboks to a Tri-Nations title. The 2009 Lions tour was his peak. In the second test, he outplayed everyone, helping South Africa win 28-25 and secure the series. Despite his relatively short international career, Brousseau's influence on the open-side role was undeniable. Could he have been even greater if he had more opportunities at test level? Few players have been as technically brilliant as Neil Back. A crucial part of England's 2003 Rugby World Cup winning side, Back was a master of precision. He wasn't the biggest, but his intelligence at the breakdown, support play, and tackling ability made him a nightmare for opponents. His work rate was second to none, and his influence on England's success is undeniable. Paired with Richard Hill and Lawrence Dallaglio, he formed England's holy trinity back row. But how does he compare to the physicality of the modern era? Next, Schalk Burger, the Springbok powerhouse who redefined physicality. Born in 1983, Burger debuted in 2003 and racked up 86 caps for South Africa. At 6'4" and 240 pounds, he was a wrecking ball. If there's one word to describe Schalk Burger, it's fearless. The South African enforcer was a relentless tackler, a physical force who played the game with unmatched aggression. Winning the 2007 Rugby World Cup with the Springboks, Burger became a symbol of South African rugby's grit and power. His work rate was second to none, and his ability to impose himself on a game was unmatched. But was he more of a blindside flanker in style, rather than a true open side in the traditional sense? Those are just 10 greats of the game, but we could go on and on. South Africa have produced so many GOATs, not to mention two-time World Cup winning captain Siya Kolisi, the late great Ruben Kruger, and Rob Lowe, one of the most popular Springboks of the past century. For Wales, Justin Tupuric brought so much flair in the 7 jersey, often caught in the shadow of Warburton. Michael Hooper was another Wallaby great. Peter Winterbottom was considered one of the best open sides to ever play for England, and Josh Kronfeld was a trailblazer for New Zealand. The list goes on and on, but when it comes to choosing the greatest open side flanker of all time, it's a battle of eras, playing styles and influence. Some dominated with power, others with speed, and some with sheer tactical brilliance. So who takes the crown? This is where we need you to have your say. Comment your selection below whether they have been mentioned in this video or not.